the symptoms of consciousness. But beyond that, somebody can say, okay, there's something beyond this gross body I'm seeing, and that is mind, or thinking, feeling, and willing. That's called Jnanamaya. And then comes Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya person is at the Brahman realization already, because he says that there is something beyond mind, there is something beyond the body. So in Prabhupada writes in the purport for 13.5 that living entities, mind and life are distinguished from living entity himself. That particular person can see that I am different than my mind and I am different than my body. That's Vijnanamaya. But the highest is Anandamaya, which means realization of all blissful nature of the Supreme Lord. Now the last three, Annamaya, Pranamaya and Jnanamaya, are the field of activities, the body. But Vijnanamaya is Brahman realization and Anandamaya is the super soul. Somebody realizes Krishna. It will come again. So this is, now he starts answering the questions. First he answers the questions 3, 4 and 5. 3, 4 and 5 was what? What was 3, 4 and 5? What is Kshetra? What is Kshetragna? And what is Jnana? Kshetra means Krishna. What is he? Krishna is answering questions starting from 3, 4 and 5 questions. And the third, fourth and fifth question was, what is Kshetra? Means what is the field of activities? What is Kshetragna? Means what is the who is the knower of the field of activities, and what is Jnana? Jnana means the knowledge and the process of knowing the above two. This particular shloka and the next one tells us about the field of activity, the body. The 5 great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the 5 senses, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and conviction. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and their interactions. So I want to just summarize, because Sankhya Yoga teaches us about 24 elements which constitute the body. And Krishna has put it in a very haphazard way here. I mean, it's simplified if we can understand. So I will say the 5 great elements means 5 Mahabhutas, which is what? Tell me, which are the 5 Mahabhutas?
Yes.
Elements. Please raise your hand if you would like to participate. What are the 5 great elements Krishna is talking about? Sorry, Shri Krishna, you can unmute yourself. What are the 5 great elements Krishna is talking about? Sharmila Bular Mataji, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna. It's the earth,
That is
water,
not how you give a high five. Give me a proper high five.
the 5 elements.
Yes, the 5 great elements. Thank you, Mataji. 5 great elements as what she said. Sharmila Mataji said, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then he says, then he says 10, the unmanifested. The unmanifested means the unmanifested 3 modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. That's taken as 6. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Then false ego and intelligence is 7 and 8. Are you with me, everybody? And then the 10 senses. So tell me, what are the 10 senses Krishna is talking about? We have discussed. Can someone raise his hand and tell me what are the 10 senses Krishna is talking about? So we already did 5 great elements. Then we did false ego, which is 6, intelligence 7, unmanifested 8. Now what are the 10 senses? Guru Prasad, Jayanti Mataji, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji. That is 5 knowledge acquiring senses like hands, legs, this 5 senses, that is the eyes, nose, ears, what we hear, and by touch we use the hands and legs. And 5 working senses is legs, hands, and I'm forgetting what are all the others.
Okay. Yes, but that's correct. So the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. So 5 knowledge acquiring senses are eyes, ears, nose,
Nose.
mouth, and sense of touch.
Yes.
Now, the 5 working senses are again eyes. We work through our eyes because we gather knowledge.
Yeah.
Nose,
Yeah.
vocal cords, hands.
Okay.
So those are the 10. So how much it becomes? Is someone doing the addition?
11th is the mind, Mataji.
So it will come. It will because Mataji, I'm going sequence by. So 5 great
Okay.
elements, then 6,
Okay.
then 7, then 8, and then 10. Then 8, 10 plus 8 is 18. And then the mind is the 19th. Then the 5 sense objects. What are the 5 sense objects? Can someone tell me? The 19. Please raise your hand if you want to tell me what are the 5 sense objects. We already kind of spoke about it. I'm very bad in computer. Jayanti Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself. Do you want to answer again? Suresh Prabhu, you can unmute yourself. Hare Krishna, Suresh Prabhu, you can unmute yourself. Please. Okay, so I would like to, in the favor of saving time, I'll say that the sense of seeing, the sense objects, that my eyes want to see something very nice. That's 1. My ears want to hear something very nice. That's 2. Then my nose want to smell something very nice. That's 3. My tongue wants to taste something very nice. 4. My hands want to touch something very soft. 5. So those all constitute the 24. And that is called as, until here, 5 sense objects, that is called as the field of activities, according to Sankhya Yoga. Now, the desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are nothing but the interaction of the field of activities. But for example, the desire, hatred, happiness, distress, Prabhupada explains is coming from the 3 modes of material nature. You can read the purport for 13.5. Okay, so Krishna answered what is the field of activity. Then Krishna will tell us, this is a very busy slide, but this is the most simple slide. What is the process of acquiring the knowledge? Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness, amid pleasant and unpleasant experiences or events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So 20 things Krishna explained here. It begins with humility. And he says that most important thing is to develop devotional service, because if someone is aspiring for these qualities but they do not develop devotional service, the other 19 are useless basically. So humility, I just want to quickly go over this so we know that what Krishna's expectation is, or what he's saying is to be the knowledge, her process of acquiring knowledge. Unless and until one becomes humble, there's no way that someone can approach Krishna. Humility, or amanitvam, not to be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored. Prabhupada explains that a lot of people join religious cult to be honored because they want to be known as very knowledgeable people. That's not humbleness. That's not humility. That is not pleasing to Krishna. That may be pleasing to some common mass of people, but if that person is not going to end up with Krishna. So be very careful. Pridelessness, adam bhitvam, understanding you're not the body, and thus honor and dishonor are the same. Non-violence, ahimsa, unless one elevates people to spiritual knowledge, one is practicing violence. So non-violence does not mean not killing or being vegetarian. Non-violence means that not causing distress and anxiety to other people. A person who is really in Krishna consciousness, who is really situated, the Sita Prajna, will never put someone in any kind of distress or anxiety. Never. Or he will not be also distressed because he has tolerance, shanti. We practice to bear insult and dishonor from others. These all qualities are very deep, but this is just an overview. Simplicity, so straightforward that you can disclose the truth to even an enemy. Accepting a spiritual master is the eighth, is a very important. This is essential. Krishna says this is essential because unless and until I approach a spiritual master, it is the knowledge will not be revealed. Cleanliness, bathing is external, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is internal. Steadiness, dhairyam, determined to make progress in spiritual life. Self-control, reject anything unfavorable to spiritual advancement, control the senses. Renunciation of sense objects, not to cater to unnecessary demands, gratified only to keep body fit for devotional service. Absence of false ego, reject I am this body or mind, accept that I am Krishna's servant. So ego is there. Ego is a property of the soul. We cannot get rid of the ego. But absence of false ego means that I am not this. False ego means I am body or I'm the mind, and everything that I'm doing in my life is supposed to take care of my body or my mind. But when I reject that proposition, and the real ego is I'm Krishna's servant, and whatever I have to do should be in conjunction and alignment with that particular property. That is real ego. Perception of evil, regularly hear about from proper source, become disgusted with material life. Detachment, be ready to sacrifice everything for Krishna, no entanglement with wife, children, family. Should practice it if you can do it in Krishna conscious way, but renounce if unfavorable to Krishna. Prabhupada says that if you have a house where you can cultivate Krishna consciousness in a very productive manner, there is no need to leave anybody. There's no need. Just chant Hare Krishna, read Shastras together, do Kirtan together. Those are the only things you need to do with your family. And if you're doing it, then that's your place. You don't need to go anywhere. Prabhupada clarifies that. Sorry, I pressed something. Anyway, I'll just finish here. Even-mindedness, not elated or distressed at material gain or loss by performing unbreakable devotional service. Unalloyed devotional service engages oneself in 9 processes of bhakti, aspiring to live in a solitary place, not desiring to mix with materialistic people, but live in the association of the devotees. These are the properties that attract Krishna. But again, Krishna says that all these properties are useless if someone is not really developing devotional service. Then let's say what she says. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Now he's going to explain in this shloka, now he's going to explain the object of knowledge. So what is it really? Now starts the object of knowledge, the jnanyam. That what is it that really needs to be known? So far, what have we discussed? Can someone summarize for me? Bhavani Mataji, would you like to summarize whatever we have discussed so far? Please unmute yourself. Hare Krishna, Bhavani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare
We
Krishna.
have discussed till now about the material nature, who is the enjoyer, what is the body, and what is the karma and jnana level. Now I think we are entering the field of knowledge and supreme knowledge of the Supreme Godhead.
Yes, thank you
Sorry
so much.
for any mistakes from my side. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, this is an open discussion platform. No one is judged.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't judge me too, because I don't know how many mistakes I am doing.
Mataji, one small, it's not appreciation, but the thing is you're taking such a lot of time out of your busy schedule and trying to enlighten us on Bhagavad Gita. We are all very grateful to you, really. Hare Krishna, God bless
Thank
you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank
Truly,
you.
from the bottom of my heart, these words are coming here. Because I'm seeing you how stressed you are at your workplace also. And your...
No, I worked last night. I just have to go home. I haven't gone home yet.
God bless you. Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishna. So far, like Krishna asked 6 questions, out of which question number 3, 4, and 5. What is Kshetra? What is Shretagna? And what is the knowledge? Or knowledge in the process of knowing is answered. So, okay, so basically out of the 6 questions that I showed, let me go back to the slide. This so far we have answered what is Kshetra, means what is body, what is Shretagna, or who is the knower of the body, and what is knowledge or Jnanam, or understanding Kshetra and Shretagna. So far we have discussed this in short. Can someone tell me what is Kshetragna? So far what we have discussed, what is Shretagna, or knower of the body? How many knowers are there? Please raise your hand. So far what we have discussed according to that. Please raise your hand. Even if you have a question about it, still raise your hand. Like, what is the Shretagna? No one is raising hands, so maybe I should start my presentation again. Suresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
There are actually Kshetra is body and Kshetrajnana is the knower and the knower of the knowledge of that it is it's not a body, and there are 2 knowers. One
And who
is
are they?
self and the other is the supreme source.
Yes, so soul and super soul. And
Yes.
Kshetra is the field of activities, the body.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And what is Jnana? What is knowledge as per Krishna?
Being that Kshetra is our own body, and that it is the soul and the self.
Are
So the
separate.
Yes.
Thank you so much. 100 out of 100, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. So, so we go through now. The super soul is the original source of all senses. I'm so bad. Yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature. At the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. So remember the field that I showed, that there is one knower. One knower is I know my body, or my soul knows my body. And then there's another knower in the body, which is the super soul. The quality of that super soul, or knowing that super soul, is what is the object of knowledge. Okay, this is another question answered. That what is Jnanyam, or object of knowledge, or goal of knowledge. Like yesterday I told, right, like when a successful person or a very introspective person will begin an activity with a goal in mind. And what is it that I'm trying to achieve? They will not just be going with the flow. They will make the flow because there is something that needs to be achieved. Like that, we are discussing this whole thing. We are discussing what is body, what is self, what is super self, what is the knowledge about, or what are the qualities of the self, and what are the qualities of the super self. But the real object of knowledge or goal is to understand the super soul. And Prabhupada writes he is the original source of all senses. So he made the senses. He is without senses. What does it mean? He's the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. What does it mean? Please raise your hand. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the mode of nature. At the same time, he is the master of all the modes of nature. Yes, please, someone. What does it mean? He's the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. Controversy. Krishna is full. Sangeeta Mataji, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Like super soul means he's the guiding light for the soul.
No, Mataji, my question is here. You see, right? Super
Yes.
soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah, it means to say that the soul is there, which has all the senses, and all the super soul is Krishna. So he's the one who is guiding the fact, and he's like a Lord because we are praying to him, and he's like a Lord who is guiding forces towards us. He's not attached. He's beyond all this attachment and of the body. That's what
Okay.
I understood. I hope I'm right. I'm not.
No, you are right. There is no wrong answer in this class anyway, but you are right. But my intention is just to focus out of all the things mentioned in this verse, the first line, super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. So what? But thank you, Mataji. I really appreciate your understanding is perfect. But I have a tunnel vision, so that he's saying he's the original source of all senses, yet he's without senses. Thank you. Nakshi Mataji, you can unmute yourself, please.
I can just try, Mataji. I think,
Yes,
see,
Mataji.
he is the creator of all the senses and he has given us the senses, right? He has it, though we are under the control, the senses are controlling us. Okay, we are controlled by our senses, but Krishna is not controlled by his senses. He has it. He has the senses. It doesn't mean he doesn't have any senses by saying yet he is without senses. He does
Yes.
have the senses, but he's not controlled by the senses where we are controlled by our senses. And we are
Thank
attached
you.
to our senses and we only, understand and go along with our senses, but Krishna doesn't.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada explains that the super soul is original of all, source of all senses, yet he is without senses. It means that his senses are not material. His senses are not within the vision of our material eyes. His senses are transcendental. That is why he's saying, yet he is without senses. So without senses means that his senses are not material. He's not dependent on the material nature to satisfy his senses. His senses are transcendent, spiritual in nature. That is why, even though he made all the senses, he is without senses. Without senses, I'm again repeating, please understand, that is not material senses. Okay? That's what Prabhupada says here. The supreme truth exists both internally and externally, in the moving and non-moving. He's beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far away, he's also near to us. Right? These are all the qualities. Now, this is the object of knowledge. This is the real thing. Krishna is present both internally, Bahir, Antara. Right? He's present. He's present in the moving objects and non-moving objects. Mane, he's present in the tree, and he's also present in an insect or flying bird or on me or you. He's beyond the power of material senses. He's present, but we cannot see him with the eyes. We cannot feel him, right? He's far away. Krishna is sitting in Goloka Vrindavan, but he's also near to all. So, but he's also sitting in my heart. So that is what we are talking about. The supreme truth exists both internally and internally. This is again the representation that both externally and internally, in the moving and non-moving, he's beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far away, he's also near to us. Does someone know this pastime? This embryo, this Krishna coming inside the womb. Does someone know this? Please raise your hand if someone knows this. So Krishna is present in the heart of this fetus, but also present came from outside. Sumitra Mataji, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Is this when Parikshit Maharaj was in the womb?
Yes.
Uttara Mata.
Yes.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, the very nice pastime that when Abhimanyu was killed in the Mahabharata, and the last higher or last person who will carry on the hierarchy of Pandavas was Parikshit Maharaj, who and his mother was still carrying him in the body. But what is his name? Ashwathama. Ashwathama released a weapon which with the object which will actually go and hunt for its object. He released it to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So the weapon was so strong, it's explained in first canto Bhagavatam, that it will, even if it cannot see the attack, the person that it needs to attack, it will hunt for it. It's so subtle. So it was going to kill Parikshit Maharaj, but his mother felt that she was going to have a miscarriage, so she prayed to Krishna. So Krishna appeared inside the womb and absorbed that weapon. So he saved Parikshit Maharaj from dying. So that's why his name is Parikshit. Parikshit Mane always curious, because he saw Krishna, and then after that he never saw in his life until the last moments. And he was always inquiring, what is it that I saw? What is it that I saw? Inquisitive, always questioning. So that he's present inside, but also present outside. This is a very nice slide. Let's see if I can show. Okay. He's a source of light in all luminous objects. You see Krishna written here? So he's a source of light in all luminous objects. We know that. Krishna says, Prasamapsikantayas Prabhu Ashmi Sashi Suryaha. So I am the source of light in sun and moon. He's beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He's knowledge. He's the object of knowledge. So Krishna is again the light. So he is the knowledge. You see, the child is trying to acquire knowledge. He's the object of knowledge, and he's the goal of knowledge, and he's situated in everyone's heart. So he's present in the light. He is the knowledge and object of knowledge, and he's present in the heart of all living entities. Thus, the field of activity is the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Can someone summarize, please? Like, my question is, what is the field of activity? Who is the knower of the field of activity? And what is the definition of knowledge? Can someone please summarize it for me? Please raise your hand if you would like to participate. So basically, so far, whatever we have discussed. Suresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
That is, the field is the Kshetra, which is our body, and knower is the Purusha. I mean, that is
Knower is not the
Prakriti.
Purusha.
Prakriti.
No, I haven't used those terms yet. Mataji. So just from whatever we have discussed so far, because Purusha, Prakriti basically means nature and enjoyer of the nature. It does not mean soul and super soul.
Okay, sorry.
So no, not sorry. I mean, it's very hard to just follow Prabhupada or Acharyas because there is a tendency in the mind.
Confusion a little bit.
So Mataji, you are perfect. You're perfect. Your answer is perfect. That the field of activity is the body. Now the next thing is who is the knower of the body?
Knower is the Bhokta, that is self, soul.
Soul and who else? There are two knowers.
Supreme.
Super soul. Very good. Thank you, Mataji. So she used the word bhokta and bhukta. Such nice.
Yes.
Thank you. So the soul is called bhukta, which because it is maintained, and
Enjoyer.
the bhukta is called bhokta because he is the maintainer.
Maintain.
Okay,
Yes.
then what is all knowledge? What is knowledge?
Knowledge is jnana.
Means what, according to what we have discussed so far? Perfect. Your answers are perfect.
Kshetra I mean, Kshetra Jnana, something.
Yes. So the knowledge means the knowledge of the field of activity, and the knowledge of the two knowers of the body is defined as knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect answer. So now we'll start with the other questions, because the questions that Arjuna asked in the beginning was what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, what is Kshetra, what is Kshetragna, what is Jnanam, and what is Genyam, like object of knowledge. Now Krishna is going to come to question number 1 and 2. What is Prakriti and what is Purusha? That's what we're going to see now. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations in the modes of matter are products of material nature. See, material nature and the living entity. Prakriti is material nature and living entity is Purusha, or living is called Purusha. Should be understood to be beginningless. Beginningless means they're eternal. There is no date. We cannot trace out in the history when this was made. They have been manifesting and unmanifesting, but they are there. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. This is a very nice statement and very deep and very well written. Like we go through all the 84 million species of life, right? And come to human life. That's a transformation. And then we go through and we are specifically attached to one particular mode in one body. For example, if someone is in the body of a dog, you cannot teach them shastras because a dog is not in that particular mode of nature. The mode of nature tells it to bark. Even if that person doesn't want to bark, they still have to bark. Or let's say, God forbid, somebody gets afflicted with some disease. So the nature, because of transformation of the nature, that now the disease is controlling the body. Because the body is a product of matter. Soul is not. Soul is spiritual, but the body is a product of matter. The disease becomes the controller. The laws are so strict. So are the products of material nature. I will come to it again. This is very nice. Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in the world. Does anyone want to explain this? It means because I have so many, I can have a Shastric committee with this classroom. Does anyone want to explain? Nature is said to be the cause of all matter and material activities and effects, whereas living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. So all material activities, I for Anju. Anju Mataji, Hare Krishna. What would you
Hare
say?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think in Corona times, I will just say the way the minute human beings stayed inside their homes, nature started healing itself. So I would say the living entity, the humans are the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in the world, and nature is eternal. It doesn't need anybody. It can rejuvenate itself.
Yeah, that's a very good paraphrasing of this. Yes, that's a good understanding. Yes, thank you. Sangeeta Ataji, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, what actually here it means is the soul is eternal. So according to the spiritual world, the soul is same. So once it gets into the different bodies, say for example, like a man, a woman, or animals. So as and when the body, it takes the sufferings or enjoyments according to the body it takes. So,
Right.
so
But what causes? Yes, that's right. Now, because you answered it perfect, the next level of question comes is, what decides that what kind of a body am I going to get? What is the deciding factor?
because of the karma or the like as you had mentioned earlier, if there is a lot of greed, a person may be born as a dog or something like earlier you had mentioned, and if a person likes to hog a lot, in the next birth he'll be born as a hog. So I feel it is because of the karma which a person does and his nature, what he'll be born as that particular thing in his next janam. If he does a lot of pious deeds, he'll be born into a very good family, and if he follows, I mean, if he chants the Hare Krishna mantra and all, the final abode will be Lord's no freedom from all birth and death.
Yes.
So that
All
is what
right.
I've understood.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So when we understand this shloka reverse, the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. So as she said that karma, but karma is more of an action, and behind action is a subtle desire. Like my karma will be decided by what I'm desiring. If I am desiring, like let's say in this painting we're showing you, if someone is desiring to eat anything and everything, does not discriminate whether it's halwa or stool, then they become hog in the next life. Because the desire is a subtle manifestation of karma. And that will decide that God, and the material nature will give that field of activity. And then the effect of field of activity. That is what it means, basically. So nature is said to be the cause of material activities and effects. For example, the person was desiring, because he was associating and eating everything and anything. So nature was kind enough, was very kind enough to give him an activity where he can execute his desire and suffer the effects. And but my desire, my real digging down, if you go down, even before karma is the desire. What am I desiring in my mind? And whoever will understand this will be liberated. Krishna is assuring. I hope we all are get liberated at least. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Is that clear now? It's very simple. I desire to eat anything and everything. So I am associating with the mode of ignorance because I am not discriminating. Mode of ignorance means no knowledge, just sleeping. Then what is going to happen? Then I'm going to get a body of a hog. And the nature is so kind enough because I was associating with that. I had an independence to choose what I associate with. I associated with it in the human body at least. Then I got the body and then I go back. So the concept that, okay, when somebody dies as a human being, always goes back to heavenly planets or always at least remains a human being is wrong. It depends as a human being, what was I doing? What was I desiring? If I was desiring something lower than a human body, I go back there. And the nature is kind enough to do that. Yet in this body, there's another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord. So in this two slides or two shlokas, Krishna is telling about Purusha and Prakriti. So Prakriti is the material nature, and Purusha in literal meaning does not mean man. In literal meaning, it means the enjoyer. So right now, I want to enjoy life with these things. So I am one enjoyer. Okay, then there is another enjoyer in the body. Yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as an overseer and permitter, and who is known as the soul. So I would advise, please memorize this shloka. Upadrishta anumanta cha. Upadrishta, overseer, anumanta, permitter. Just so that is the eternal enjoyer. The real enjoyer, Bhoktaram Yagana Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara. The real enjoyer, according to Shastras, is only one, and that's Krishna. But because I am in this complexity of Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Shretagna, and so because of those complexities, it appears that I'm also an enjoyer, right? And I am enjoying, but actually my objects of enjoyment, I'm not making them. For example, if I want to enjoy very nice palak paneer, I have no knowledge how that spinach actually was grown, where it actually came from, unless and until Krishna permitted that, or how that cow's blood made into milk, and then from milk we made the paneer. So we make palak paneer. So Krishna is just acting as an overseer and a permitter, but he's actually on the Anandamaya platform. Is it clear? Does anyone has any questions about it? Please raise your hand, because this can be a pretty. Or why don't you, any one of you, please raise your hand to tell me what is it that you understood, so I know that it's transparent. Meenakshi Mataji, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna once again, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
See, Mataji, in this there's a line that he says that he is he who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul, right? So we understand we have a soul and a super soul, right? So Krishna
Right.
is watching each and every action of us, right?
Yes.
So when some person is about to do a wrong action, or he is already doing it, so why doesn't the super soul guide him?
The super soul guides him.
Because the soul is doing the wrong actions, Mataji, right? Because the
Right.
soul is in the mode of ignorance or rajoguna, or whatever guna he is, because definitely not in sattvic, because sattvic will not permit to do anything wrong. So maybe rajoguna and tamasic gun, if the soul is in that guna, why not the super soul stops it from doing it?
So from what I have understood from various authorities is that the super soul does guide him. For example, if someone is going to steal, Prabhupada gives this example a lot. If someone is going to steal, they know it's wrong. They know, but how do they know it's wrong? The super soul is guiding. That is why they do it when everybody is sleeping. They don't go out in the wide light and when everybody's home. They know it's wrong. That's why the activity is done when everyone else is asleep. But the connection between the soul and super soul is so weak that they ignore. They ignore what Krishna said. And Krishna does not interfere with the independence. They just act like as overseer and permitter. That's the meaning.
So
If,
does those hints, like if he says you're saying super soul stops us definitely from doing a wrong, it could be
yeah,
any kind of a wrong, any kind. So
yes,
does that come as is that called as a conscious, ma'am? Sometimes our
yes,
conscious
yeah.
to do it and not to do it. So can I assume the super soul is our conscious?
Yeah, yes. Whenever, like, for example, if there is a doubt that should I do it or should I go to this party or should I not,
Yeah.
sometimes you get this right in the heart, or I get it, maybe not, but because I ignore that voice, I do it anyway. And
Hmm.
Krishna has given the independence, like little amount of independence is given,
Hmm.
that you can decide or desire. That is the only independence given to us by Krishna, that you can desire. I will act as an overseer and permitter, but you can desire. But I may desire to listen to Krishna and I may desire not to listen to Krishna.
Okay.
And in either way, Krishna acts as an overseer and permitter. Now the
So
question comes, why? Why does Krishna act as an overseer and permitter even in that case, right?
yeah, and if you say just now, like Krishna says desire and the other word, so do I assume that if I don't listen to Krishna, okay, if I am not listening to my conscious always, so that means I am totally dipped in the mode of ignorance?
Totally dipped in the three modes of material nature, any of them, like ignorance, passion, or even goodness. But out
Yeah,
of ignorance and passion, that's tomorrow, three modes of material nature. Ignorance and passion, goodness is better.
yeah,
Because once we start listening to Krishna and really align our life, consciousness, thinking, feeling, willing, action really in terms of Krishna, then we come to a platform called Shuddha Sattva, which is transcendental goodness, which is beyond any of the three modes.
yeah. Because in
It could be
Sattvic,
any of the,
if I have more of Sattvic, so I will definitely listen to Super Soul and act accordingly. No, I am not
not
listening to Super Soul.
definitely, you will have more chance of hearing. For example, there are three children that, okay, and then they have to give write for an exam. They know
Hmm.
their exams are approaching. They
Hmm.
all know that the exams are approaching and they all know that they have to study. Now one person is saying, I will study. I know I have to study. I know there is a date approaching for me to write exam, but maybe I can study 2 weeks before exam. Just
Okay.
procrastinate.
Hmm.
And the other person is, I know I have to study and I will start studying 6 months before the exam come and I will enjoy the rest of 6 months in school.
Hmm.
Okay, that's passion or another mode. And the other person is, I know I have to study and that is why I am a student. Otherwise, why will I be a student if I don't have to study? That's my only duty. So that person is invested in that from the very beginning. Right? So what I'm trying to tell you, a person in the mode of goodness will be like the third person. Like, I know I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Why don't I just start to at least theoretically realize it?
Okay.
Did I make it clear or did I confuse you?
Yes, yes. No, no, you did definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Uh, so Jayanti Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself. So what is it that we discussed so far? Can you summarize for us?
No, I have one question related to the previous one, what the lady Mataji was asking.
Meenakshi
We do
Mataji.
yeah, we do a mistake. Conscious stops us, but still we do a mistake. After doing a mistake, we realize that it is wrong.
Then
Is it right? Is it our conscious that is telling us that what you have done is wrong? So correct yourself. So are we on the right path? Every time I do a mistake, then realize and don't do.
you're asking a question which Parikshit Maharaj asked to Sukdev Goswami. So Parikshit Maharaj, after Sukdev Goswami described that how everybody is entangled in the material world, like how we desire and the desire manifests into an action and then the action manifests into a reaction, which he called as karma. So
Okay.
then Sukdev Goswami described how the living entities are entangled in everything. The bottom line is the desire. So Parikshit Maharaj said that I am very amazed, like despite of knowing, we still do it. And he actually correlated this to Hasti Snan. He said this is like an elephant takes very nice bath. I have a friend from Kerala. She told me elephant takes a very nice and long bath in the river. Very nice. They come out very shiny. They splatter water on each other with their trunks. They're spick and span and clean. The minute they come out of the water, what they do? Hastis nothing. They
Yeah.
put dust on their body.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So that's what Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukdev Goswami that why is it that I do and then I know the result is going to be wrong, but I do it anyway. And then despite of actually getting the result, again I will do it anyway. What is it? What is it, Krishna, that makes me do like that? So Krishna answered and we discussed it. It is lust only, Arjuna. I think it's the
Yes.
third chapter. Kama
Yes, yes,
esha,
yes,
krodha
yes,
esha, rajoguna samudbhava.
yes.
So unless and until I dovetail my activity in devotional service, again I'm saying that's the verdict of all the acharyas, that unless until I dovetail my activities as devotional service, everything that I'm doing is lust only.
Okay, okay, Mataji.
But that's a science, and the beginning is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because Hare Krishna Mahamantra takes us to a platform of soul and super soul. This is a realized knowledge. It has to be given. I cannot make it on my own. It has to be given. There's a lot
Yes,
of mercy factor.
yes,
Did
Mataji.
I answer your question or confused you?
Yes, yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Suresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, would you like to summarize and then I will go through, because the rest of the slides are kind of easy for us to understand if we understand what we have so far understood.
Mataji, I got a doubt.
Yes.
I mean, what is then this the sixth sense also? It is related to consciousness.
Mataji, I've heard that a lot. Maybe, I don't know, because in Bhagavatam, sixth sense doesn't come. In English language, I've heard it in the local, like,
Because
talking.
something says us that it is wrong, you should not do it. Because another Prabhuji was telling that usually when they do this suicide or something, the mind says, go on, when we climb the top of the hill, you jump from here. And the intelligence says, what you're doing is wrong.
That
Say
I
something
only was
from inside.
telling. Yeah,
Yeah,
my Guru
that's,
Maharaj example.
yes, yes. So that is what, whether it is related to the sixth sense or the conscious purely. Because what we are summarizing it, the conscious is the one which is guiding us. That self-conscious, because every time we say that word self-conscious, because permits us, doesn't permit to do this actions which is not correct.
Right. So there are two ways to answer these questions according to the Shastras. According to whatever you understand and whatever you connect to and
Yes.
whatever makes you closer to Krishna is
Individual.
good. That's fine. As long as you actually end up with Krishna, that's fine. But according to the Shastras, the senses that we have are material. Even if it is in the subtle way, like the 10 knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 objects, 5 objects of 5 sense ob. I'm sorry, what am I saying? 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 sense objects and 5
actions.
working senses. Sorry. But then he says mind is the another 11th one. Then he also says false ego and intelligence is also material. It says, right? It
Yes,
doesn't say about conscious, because consciousness is super soul. There's another transcendental enjoyer. See this shloka here? Transcendental enjoyer.
Okay. Yes.
This word, transcendental enjoyer is this word. Paramatmati, who is
Paramatma.
Lord, the supreme proprietor,
Yes,
who
correct,
exists as the overseer and permitter. So that transcendental enjoyer can only be connected to transcendental senses. The sixth sense concept comes in our daily language, the daily conversation, but it's not found in the Shastras.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
But anyhow, even if you take that and it takes you closer to Krishna and you end up with Krishna, there's no problem. Just do it.
Yes. Ultimately, it is Lord's this thing.
Yeah, but really, not like fanatically, not like in the mind level, not like in the intelligence level, not like in the false ego level. You have to go to the beyond all these levels, and the only way this can happen is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare
There is no
Krishna.
way.
Yes, correct, Mother. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sangeeta Mataji, I'll take you later. Please ask later. I want to go ahead because I'm going over time. Then he says, one who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take his birth here again, regardless of his present situation. Like someone asked me the other day about Ajamila. Like, why was Ajamila so blessed that he got a second chance to come near to Krishna? Because he understood that I am not the body, I'm the soul, and I actually belong to Krishna. The memory was revived, regardless of his present situation. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation. Others through cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desire. We know that. We studied it yesterday, right? Some do it through meditation, some do it through cultivation of knowledge, and some do it through working without fruitive desires. And Krishna is accepting everyone. And then, this is interesting. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. If there's somebody, let's say there's this class going on Bhagavad Gita, and a friend drags the other person. I will get bored. I'm not going to listen to it again, but I have a desire to listen. But I want a company. Just sit with me. Another person says like, okay, I'll sit with you, but don't expect me to learn anything. I'm just going there because you are asking me. Otherwise, I'm not interested. But somehow, if that particular friend also hears and becomes interested, that person also transcends the path of birth and death just because he heard it from authority. So powerful hearing process. O chief of Bharatas, whatever you see in existence, both moving and unmoving, is only the combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. Whatever is in our, for example, a lady cooks for her home, for her family, like she makes food for her family. Can someone paraphrase and give me an example and explain me how is it a combination of field of activity and the knower of the field? I gave you a case. This is how we study our cases in medicine. I gave you a case, a situation where a lady is cooking for her family. Now tell me, who is the knower, what's the field of activity, and what's the knowledge? Please raise your hand. So that's the application of knowledge. Suresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, because here the mother who is doing it is the doer. And
So she's doing it with what? She's doing it with what? With her body?
Cooking.
And mind?
The field.
And intelligence?
Doing
your voice is
with right, because cooking with the conscious of the or chanting with chanting of the without the love of the Lord. So she's preparing the cooking. Because the question I didn't understand properly, Mataji.
Okay, so my question is that so far I have we have discussed that what is Kshetra, what is the field of activity, what is Kshetragna, like no one of the field of activity, what is Jnana, and what is Jnanam, means that what is the object of knowledge, and we have also discussed what is the Purusha, means who is the real enjoyer, and what is the Prakriti, means what is the material nature. So 6 things we have discussed so far.
Yes.
Now I'm giving you a case scenario, and you have to tell me what is Kshetra, what is Shretagna, and what is Jnana in this.
Is a place
woman is cooking for her family. Tell me who is the Kshetra and who is the Shretagna in that situation.
Is field is I think mother. Mother is cooking the food. Am I right, ma'am?
Don't worry about wrong and right. Just talk out. Just like spurt it out.
Enjoyer
you say you're right or wrong? Just say it.
And then the enjoyer, what this thing is the Lord, the Supreme Lord, because whatever we're cooking with the conscious of the Lord, that is a Supreme Soul. Because
okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Nakshi Mataji, you can unmute yourself. You want to answer my case scenario?
I will try, ma'am. I think the woman is the doer. Okay. She's the doer.
The question is Kshetra and Shretagna. So field of activities and knowledge.
Kshetra is the kitchen, I can call the field of her working.
That's one field. That's the other field.
Yeah.
Her own body is also a field, right?
Yeah.
Her own intelligence, her own mind is also a field.
Yeah. Herself also, and the area where she's going to prepare the food. And then what did you say?
What is Shretagna, or who is the knower of that field?
Knower of the field will be she herself, because she knows how to go about it.
Yes, she herself is a soul. And who else?
And
There are two more.
her knowledge about how to go about that cooking. If she doesn't have a knowledge,
So one knower is the soul and the other knower is the super soul.
yeah, within herself, that is.
Yeah. So those are the two knowers.
Yeah.
And what is the knowledge? The knowledge is to know that what is the field of activity and
Yeah.
who's the knower of the field of activity.
Yeah, that's what, how she has to use that field of activity and how, she has to put that into the cooking. She should have the knowledge of that. If she doesn't have the knowledge, then there's no point.
Yes. Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you. Oh, Mataji, you can unmute yourself. I'm sorry, I accidentally muted you.
I said maybe you can elaborate more on this.
No, you were perfect. My question is like, let's say that now today you're gonna go in the kitchen and cook. You
Yeah.
should just know that I'm cooking with this body, mind, and
Yes.
intelligence, which is a
Yes.
field of activity. I, as a soul, are separate from the field of activity because I'm there, but I'm not attached.
Hmm.
And there's another knower, which is called super soul, which
Yeah.
is with me in that level. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Hi, Krishna. So now Jnana Chakshu comes, next 8 shlokas, 9 shlokas. Whatever you see, this is like whatever you're seeing is the combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. And then one who sees the super soul accompanying the soul, the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed, actually sees. That is why that person can culminate that can cultivate humility. Then this is a repetition of the last shloka. The person who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind as he approaches a transcendental destination. He does not do anything that's non-violence. He does not do anything which is going to put anyone else in distress. And he will tolerate everything for himself. One who sees that all the activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that self does nothing, actually sees. So this is like in the example of cooking, a lady cooking in the kitchen. She knows she's cooking with her body, mind, and intelligence, but that's a combination of material nature. But as a soul, I'm really not doing it. She actually sees. She can say it. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything. Can someone read it, please? It's not clear on my end. Can you please raise hand if you would like to read? Suresh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, can you please read this slide for me? The sky, due to its subtle
Hello?
nature. Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you please raise this?
ನೀನ್ ಲೀವ್ ಮಾಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡು.
Okay. Maybe we can. Sorry, Prabhu, I wasn't understanding what you were saying. Brijesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, unmute yourself, please. Read it for me.
Hare Krishna. The
Hare
sky,
Krishna.
due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in the Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. See, the soul is situated in the body, but it does not mix with the qualities of the body. It does not become material, does not have material senses, material mind, material false ego. And actually, the body is dead matter. If actually we analyze, it's a dead matter. The soul consciousness makes it look like alive. And the minute the soul leaves that body, the body again regains its quality of being dead. In the beginning, it was dead. The soul made it alive. And when the soul leaves it, it again comes back to its original constitutional position. It's a very deep knowledge, not easy to realize, but theoretically, this is what it is. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity within the body illuminates the entire body by consciousness. The entire body is, even if the soul is situated in the heart, even if it is situated only in the heart, but the consciousness is spread all throughout. One who knowingly sees this difference between the body and the owner of the body can understand the process of liberation from this bondage, also attains to the supreme goal. You can see that I am the owner of the body, but I'm not the body. So this is what we discussed today. Arjuna asked 6 questions. Etad Veditam Ichhami. Description of Kshetra and Kshetragna and Jnana from 2nd verse to 7th verse. Kshetragnam Chapi Mam Vidhi. Then process of acquiring knowledge. Mai Shananya Yogena from 8 to 12. The 20 qualities that Krishna lists for us. That is explained in 8 to 12. Jnanyam, object of knowledge. Sarvataha Pani Padam Tat. Prakriti, Purusha, and union, or material nature, enjoyer, and how they're interacting, is explained between 28 to 26 verse. Karanam Guna Sangosya. Shad Ashad Yoni Sarveshu. Because I'm associating with the mode of nature, I get that yoni. And then Jnana Chakshu, vision of knowledge, from 27 to 35. Kshetra Shretagnar Evam Anantram Jnana Chakshushaha. So now I'm going to ask some questions and see if we have a little bit of understanding of what we discussed today. Okay, how many questions did Arjuna ask in the beginning of chapter to Krishna? In 13th chapter, how many questions? 4, 5, 6, 7. I can try to go back to the slide in the back. Okay, I'm going to end the polling in some time. Okay, let's end the polling now. Oh, still people are going. 90% of the class voted. 33 people are saying 6. So the answer is 6. You see on the back, this is just information. Like he asked, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, what is Kshetra, what is Kshetragna, what is Jnanam, and what is Jnanyam. He asked 6 questions. Next question. The word Kshetra mean field of activity is used for the soul, the super soul, the body, or none of the above. What is this field of activity word used for? The soul, the super soul, the body, Kshetra. There's a difference between the field of activity and the knower of the field of activity. Okay, I'm going to end the polling in few minutes. Okay, I'll end now. So 42 people are saying the body, 5 are thinking the soul. The soul is the knower of the field. You see this slide we made as a example that there is a field which is compared to the body, and then there is this knower of the field which is the soul, and then there's another knower which is super soul, and that super soul is actually aware of all the fields, but this particular soul is only aware of this field. Okay, so the answer is the body. Shretagna, who is /R, the knowers of the body, the soul, the soul and super soul? I am not sure. Who do you think? How many knowers are there in this body? And who are they? Okay, I'm going to end the polling in few seconds. Okay. So the answer is 2 knowers, the soul and super soul. The soul is a knower, you're not wrong. The super soul is also a knower, but they both are actually the complete knower. The complete answer will be the soul and super soul. So this is a very interesting question. The quality of non-violence means practice being a vegetarian, not to put others in distress, none of the above. What is the meaning of the word non-violence? You know, in ISKCON, we do a thing called non-violent communication, the language of the heart. There's violence in the communication as well. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end the polling now. So very overwhelming response. Most of the people are saying not to put others in distress. And one person is saying practice being a vegetarian, and one person is saying none of the above. Practice being a vegetarian is, so non-violence is a very broad category under which vegetarianism may come as a non-violence. But actually, when we kill the plants, we are actually killing them too, unless and until you offer it to Krishna. It's also a violence. None of the above. This particular person who answered none of the above, please ask me at the end. Why do you think it's none of the above? And what do you think is the answer? The answer is not to put anyone else in distress. The super soul or Paramatma in the body acts as the overseer, the permitter, the transcendental enjoyer, all of the above. This is Jnana Chakshu, 27th verse. Let me bring it. Upadrishta, Anumanta. Okay, I'm going to end the polling now. Very good response. All of the above. Upadrishta, Anumanta cha. Upadrishta means overseer. Anumanta means gives the permission. And then he's also Atmana with transcendental enjoyer. All of the above is the answer. I think we are done with the questions. Now I want to know one thing for my own sake. So how many of you have started chanting the Maha Mantra after attending this course? Yes, I'm chanting daily, at least one round of Maha Mantra. Yes, I'm chanting but not counting. I am thinking about it seriously, but I have some questions. No, I have not started chanting yet. Okay, please answer. I will give few more seconds. Chanting but not counting is the maximum so far. Okay. One more. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm seeing that most of the people are chanting but not counting. And then second most is chanting at least one round. And then one person has some questions. Please ask your questions. And then 4 haven't started chanting yet. So chanting but not counting, both are good, but chanting with counting is sadhana bhakti or vidhi bhakti. So that's higher than not counting, but chanting itself is good. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Now let me take some questions. We have gone above the time again, the last 4 days after tomorrow. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Nakshi Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, Mataji, it's not related to this chapter, but just a question. What is Swadharma according to Bhagavad Gita?
What is what?
Swadharma.
The dharma of the self. What is the meaning of the word dharma? We discussed it. Very good.
Dharma is righteous things.
So Prabhupada explains the meaning of the word dharma means duty in literal sense or the quality. For example, he says the dharma of a chili is to be bitter. If it is not chili, if it is not bitter, it's not chili. It's
okay.
Or the dharma of a salt is to be salty, or the dharma of the sugar is to be sweet. Like that, the dharma.
Called it as nature, Mataji. Nature of that particular thing.
Yes, the quality. Yes, the nature or the property in other way.
Okay. Yeah.
So like that, swadharma means that the nature or the property of the self. Now you tell me what is the nature of the self. Self man is soul. What is the nature of the soul?
That's
according to what we have been reading is to do devotional service to Krishna. That is the real swadharma.
Okay, so that means it is like devotional service, right?
Yes, swadharma means the nature of the self is to do devotional service to Krishna in some way or the other. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Poona Mataji, Hare Krishna. You can unmute yourself, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, the first question I have again about the koshas which you discussed about the Anandamay. The first one is the Annamay and the Pranamay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in that basically the Annamay is related to the body which you are discussing about, right?
Annamay, Pranamay, and Gyanamay. They three are related to the field of activity, the body.
Okay, Annamay is the breathing and the Jnanamay is our mind, right?
Yes, but that is also body. Like in the 24 elements that we have analyzed, see here the 5 great elements: false, ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, and the 5 sense objects. So till here, that's a field of activity. So mind is also material. That's also body. Field of activity, not body, but field of activity.
Okay, and the Vijnanamay, Anandamay is the
So
Atma.
Vijnanamay is a Brahman conception. Vijnanamay mane, a person thinks that actually I am not neither this mind nor this body. So what am I? So that person is in the level of Brahman realization. Anandamay means transcendental bliss. Very, very happy with Krishna. Means that's the super soul level.
So Annamay, Pranamay, and the Jnanamay. In this also the Krishna's is coming. Like we
Yes,
are.
yeah. That's if you read the purport for 13.5, like this shloka, this 13.5. Let me take you. I was reading it today morning. So this is the shloka, right? 13.5. The knowledge of the field of activities and the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Now here in the purport, Prabhupada explains and gives references that, and he writes everywhere he's writing. See, Pranamaya, after Annamaya, there is a manifestation of Supreme Lord's energy. See here. There's a manifestation of Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya, dependence upon food for existence. This is materialistic realization of the Supreme. Then Pranamaya, after realizing the Supreme Absolute Truth in food, one realizes the Absolute Truth in the living form or life forms, living symptoms or life form. So yes, they're realizing Krishna at the end because who's giving food? You know, oh God, give us our daily bread. That is the Annamaya realization. But actually, who's giving food? Krishna. They're approaching God, right? Am I answering your question?
The Pranamay which you are discussing, is it about our own Pranamay you are talking, or all living the things we are discussing about?
So until the level of Vijnanamaya, we are only talking about ourselves.
Okay.
Just me. I am living. Thank God I'm not having disease. Thank God I was not shot by the shootings. Thank God I have food to eat. That's like me. But thank God is there.
Okay. And the senses also, you discussed about the senses, that the 5 knowledge senses, and what are other the senses?
The 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. And then 5 sense objects.
Okay.
So these are the knowledge acquiring senses. Eyes, we acquire knowledge by seeing something, right?
Yeah.
And then ears, then nose, the tongue, and the touch, the hand, the touch sensation. These are knowledge acquiring. 5 working senses: eyes, ears,
Nose, tongue.
the eyes, ears, vocal cords, hands, and legs are 5 working senses.
Okay.
Okay.
And the sense objects are?
You tell me. The sense object for eyes is something very beautiful, right? Our eyes are always willing to see something very pretty.
Yeah.
If I send you to a massacre where everybody bloodshed, will you go?
No.
No, because the eyes want to satisfy the mind by seeing something pleasant. If I send you to Switzerland, you will go, right? Hopefully. Oh, and then ears, I want to hear something very pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, there's a loud noise or something very unpleasant, we immediately say, shut it down.
Yeah.
And if my nose is smelling something bad, you may have an experience when you're driving on the highway. I mean, there's a dead rat or dead animal. Immediately we try to like make changes so we don't smell that, right? That's another one. Taste. if something is very bad or very salty, we immediately spit it out. Why? Because the desire is to taste something nice. And hand, I want to touch something soft. If I give you a rose flower and it has a lot of thorns, will you take it?
No.
Why? Because the intention or the desire in us is to have something soft.
So in all this, the five knowledge and the working and the sense of or the sense object, in all this, the same thing, isn't it? Coming the eyes, nose, and the mouth, the taste, the same it is coming.
What is same coming? I didn't
Like
understand.
if the five knowledge we are discussing, the sense of knowledge, there are five sense of knowledge, which is
Five
eye,
knowledge acquiring senses, yeah.
eyes, ears, mouth, nose, and the hand.
So what is same? Oh, so okay, so you want to know the subtle difference. Okay,
Yeah.
if I send you to a movie theater, you should not go, but in case you go, are you acquiring knowledge there or are you acquiring entertainment? I think it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
But if I ask you, you have to read a chapter because you have to give exam tomorrow, then the intention will be to look at that chapter with knowledge acquisition, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Very subtle there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shamant Prabhu, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself, please.
Hare Krishna Mata. I have a quick
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you increase your volume, Prabhu?
Oh, I'm sorry. One moment.
I can't hear you. Prabhu,
Any good now?
very, 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 very low volume, but try.
Okay. Yeah, I have a quick question actually. One of the slide today says, in this body there is a transcendental enjoyer who's the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as overseer and permitter, and who's a known of the super soul. And yesterday when we read one of the chapter, it says that if you meditate, then you will realize the truth and consciousness, Satchitanand, but you can't experience bliss. So I see there is a contradiction. Do you see any?
Oh, Satchit is a Brahman conception. They don't see Krishna as form. They don't see him as a person. They see him as a light. But here we are talking about transcendental personality. Personality means there are features. So that is why it is complete, Satchit and Ananda.
Okay.
I'm trying to look for the shloka. I'm sorry. Do you remember what shloka was that? I'm a little tired. That's why my brain is a little fuzzy. But that will be nice if we can bring up that shloka. Upadrishta, Anumanta, the living entity, nature, this one. Yet in this body, there is a transcendental enjoyer. Who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as overseer and permitter, and who is known as Super Soul. So, Prabhu, when we talk about enjoyer, like Poonam Mataji was asking, enjoyer means there's a person. You cannot, a candle cannot enjoy. A light just cannot enjoy. Enjoyer means there are senses and there are object of senses, and we are having fun. Right?
Okay.
Right? I'm putting gulab jamun in my mouth, and my tongue and my mind are like enjoying it.
Yes.
But so like that, that is why it's complete. That is why there's Satchit and Ananda, because we are the realization of such a person is based on realizing the Paramatma as a person, as a transcendental person. But in Brahman conception, there is no person. They say everything ends in a light or energy.
Okay.
That's the difference. Did I answer your question?
Perfectly. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Who else? Meenakshi Mataji, Hare Krishna, you can unmute yourself, please. Today, Dr. Sabat didn't come. I'm kind of missing her. Dr. Sabat, if you're here, please raise your hand. Meenakshi Mataji, you can unmute yourself, please.
No, I think it's by mistake, Mataji. The hand is raised. I'm extremely sorry.
No, I love the mistake. Thank you so much. Dr. Sabat, you're not there? Oh, there she is. Hare Krishna, Dr. Sabat. How are you?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
No questions?
Today there's some problem with my internet connection. I got logged out at least 3 times. So that's the problem.
Oh, we can talk again. You just text me your availability and I can do class with you again.
Okay.
If you
Okay,
want,
I'll
or
do
if you want, you can listen to it on YouTube, whatever is
Yes,
convenient.
sure.
Okay, so
So I
tomorrow is a
wanted
very interesting chapter, modes of material nature.
to ask about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So
Yeah,
in Puri we say Ram Ram first and Krishna is later part.
you
Hare
know,
Ram Hare Ram, Hare Ram Hare Hare, and Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare. I will
yes,
also share like in for Rath Yatra they were chanting it. So you can hear the Ram portion first.
that's okay. Prabhupada said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of the etiquette, our parampara, Prabhupada said because he chanted like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, as an etiquette and as a sincerity to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we do it as Hare Krishna first. But
Yes.
Prabhupada has said that's okay. You know, Suresh Prabhu had given me his email and I think my children lost it or something happened. But I have the document ready to share.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just put it on the WhatsApp. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, we can say Vansha Kalpatru Bhishcha Kripal Sindhu Bhai Vichapati Tanam Pavani Bhyo Vaishnavi Namo Namah. Nanta Koti Vaishnavi Ki Jai. Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, just 1 second. 1 second, Bunny.